Please rise, ladies and gentlemen. The 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is now convened for its 77th regular session. The Honorable Vice Governor, Adeline M. Angeles, presiding.
The 77th regular session of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is now called to order. Requesting Honorable Carlos de Peralta to kindly lead the invocation to be followed by the national anthem.
Father, Son, Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you in the mighty name of Jesus, thanking you and praising you, Lord God, today. We earnestly pray and hope that your blessings as we deliberate while in session, please give us more strength individually, both physically and mentally, clear visions and capabilities to enable us to deliver the basic services Father each of our people. In view of this, O Lord, please endow us with talent and skills needed to cope with the challenges imposed on us by our position at the public service. We ask of you that you will guide and break our session today so that it is full of wisdom, productivity, and respect to one another. Thank you for every gift that you have given us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Wayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y bumay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka lang magiliw, sa manlulupi, kita masisingil, sa lagal at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo baka, ay ilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang nilaman. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y nagumpay na nakikinig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan mapagpagdilig. Lupa ng araw na luwalangit pagsip na kailansin sa likod. Aming ligaya dapat may mamagin at namatay ng tayo sa'yo.
Mr. Secretary, kindly call the roll.
Honorable Mark Julius Picaballes, Honorable Aurelio J. Leva III, Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukang III, Honorable Bernardine Opis Mercado, Honorable Melga Balarin Cabo, Honorable Mercedes Arejano, Honorable Danilo Arred, Honorable Ismael D. Pilim, Honorable Jose Neril L. Manggol, Honorable Carlos F. de Peralta, Honorable Bertinos A. Valencia. Madam Presiding Officer, with 9 members of the board present, we have the necessary quorum for this afternoon session.
With 9 members of the board present, the chair now declares the presence of quorum. We can proceed with the order of business. Recognizing the floor leader, Honorable Aurelio Leva III.
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. Madam Presiding Officer, for the reading and adoption of the minutes of the previous sessions, may we ask that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the session dated February 23, 2024, and consider the same as having been read without prejudice to the corrections to be made the members of the board. I so move.
There is a motion from the chairperson of the Committee on Rules that we dispense with the reading of the February 23, 2024 minutes without prejudice to the necessary correction. Any objection? Hearing none, proceed, Honorable Leva.
Inviting members of the board who have some corrections with the minutes of February 23, 2024 session.
Any correction from the floor?
Since no member of the board manifested any corrections, Madam Presiding Officer, may move that we approve the minutes of the 75th regular session of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan dated February 23, 2024. I so move.
Any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Lim. Any objection? and also by Honorable Rejano. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The minutes of the February 23 session, year 2024, is now adopted without correction.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the special session dated February 28, 2024 and consider the same as having been read without prejudice to the corrections to be made by the members of the board. I so move.
Any objection to the motion of the chairperson of the Committee on Rules? The chair hears none. Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Inviting members of the board to have some corrections with the minutes of the special session dated February 28, 2024.
Any correction from the floor?
Since no members of the board manifested any correction, I move that we approve and adopt the minutes of the special session dated February 28, 2024. I so move.
Any second? Duly seconded by Honorable Encabong, Honorable Rejano, Honorable Red. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The minutes of the February 28, 2024 special session is now adopted without correction.
Madam Presiding Officer, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the 76th regular session dated March 8, 2024 and consider the same as having been read without prejudice to the corrections to be made the members of the board. I so move.
Any objection to the motion of the Chair of the Committee on Rules? Hearing none, we can proceed directly to the correction, any correction from the floor.
Since no member of the board manifested any corrections with the minutes of the 76th regular session dated March 8, 2024, I move that we approve and adopt the minutes of the 76th regular session of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan dated March 8, 2024. I so move.
Any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Mangkukang, Honorable Encabo, Honorable De Peralta, Honorable Rejano. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The minutes of the March 8, 2024 session is now adopted without correction.
Inviting members of the board to have some matters arising from the minutes.
Any matters arising from the 3 minutes that we just adopted? Apparently, no matters arising from the minutes. We can proceed with the next item.
The next item is the approval and amendment of the agenda. For today's agenda, we don't have any privileged speech nor a question hour. For the messages and correspondence from the governor, we have 3 items and various sub-items. 8 items. For the communications and petitions, we have 11 items. For the municipal ordinances, for the review of the board, we have 3 items. Proposed ordinance, we have 1 item. For proposed resolution, we have 1 item and 1 additional item and a supplemental appropriation for the midterm reporting mobile session and preparation of term end reports of the Office of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan.
Okay, the session resumed.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I seek reconsideration that we go back to the matters arising from the minutes?
Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, in as much as we were informed that we have already previously adopt a resolution authorizing supplemental budget for the Office of the SB Legislative with regards to the term and preparation and mobile session. May I ask that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Appropriation for the appropriate reconsideration on that matter.
Yes, the chairman of the committee is recognized. Honorable Lim.
Madam Chair, thank you. My honorable presiding officer and floor leader, my colleagues, with the indulgence of the body, Madam Chair, this representation moves that there be some some reconsideration to the supplemental appropriation during the last session that was approved with respect to the SP legislative budget. This time, Madam Chair, being a comprehensive budget requirement and request
For various activities.
for various activities, Madam Chair, this representation moves that we reconsider an increase in the amount, Madam Chair, amounting to 6 million pesos, Madam Chair. I so move.
Noted.
This, Madam Chair, would cover
For inclusion.
This reconsideration, Madam Chair, and the revision would cover legislative caravan, mobile session, General Assembly, midterm report, term end report, and the mobile session, Madam Chair. So that's the need for a substantial and bigger amount, Madam Chair. Motion for reconsideration, Madam Chair.
There is a pending motion in the matters arising for a reconsideration in the amount approved for the various activities that was previously provided initial supplemental appropriation, to increase it in the amount of 6 million pesos, subject to style care of the Secretariat in coordination with the Chairman of the Committee on Appropriation and the Presiding Officer. So is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded. Any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution of reconsideration is now adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We now go to the approval and amendment of the agenda. For today's agenda, we don't have any privileged speech nor question hour. For the messages and correspondence from the Governor, we have 8 items. For the communications and petitions, we have 11 items. For the municipal ordinances, for the review of the board, we have 3 items and various sub-items. We have 1 proposed ordinance, 1 proposed resolution, 3 committee reports, no unfinished business, 4 business items for business for the day, no unassigned business, 1 proposed ordinance and resolution for third and final reading. Madam Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the agenda without any amendment. I so move.
I was informed by the Secretariat that the report of the Committee of the Whole with regard to some hospital-related issues and concerns raised in the privileged speech of Bocaldindin Office Mercado is still in progress. So there may be a need for the deferment of that particular committee report.
Item number 2 in the committee report is requested to be deleted. So I move for the adoption of today's agenda with amendment.
Thank you, Honorable Leva. Is there any objection for the adoption of an amended agenda for today's session? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The amended agenda is now adopted.
We don't have any privileged speech, as mentioned. Also, question hour. Madam Presiding Officer, that goes for our referrals. We now go to the committee reports. May this representation be recognized for the joint committee report of the Committee on Ways and Means and the Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Committee report number 355-2024 of the Joint Committee on Ways and Means and the Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances on the subject, request from the Governor for the amendment of Article 28, Section 93 of the Provincial Ordinance number 117, Series of 2014, imposition of fees and charges for the use of Marinduque Expo and Morion Arena. The Joint Committee on Ways and Means and the Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances, and to which the aforementioned subject matter was referred to, conducted a joint committee hearing, and the result of which is being presented to this honorable body through the presiding officer for consideration and appropriate legislative action. Present during the said hearing were the following: Honorable Jose Nery Mangol, Honorable Aurelio J. Leva III, Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballos, Honorable Mercedes Rihano, Honorable Bernardine E. Office Mercado, Honorable Bertinos A. Valencia, and Honorable Ismael D. Pilim. Resource persons were the following: Ms. A. Marian Pastoral PTO, Mr. Blair Edgar M. Dimaano, HRMO, and Mr. Mark Dennis B. Cortez of the TTI. Findings. The Governor requested for the amendment of Article 28, Section 93 of the Provincial Ordinance Number 117, Series of 2014, by proposing that the rental charge for the use of the booth at the Expo and Morin Arena be adjusted to 3,000 per month instead of 3,000 per week for local exhibitors. He also requested to impose reasonable fee supplemented by direct responsibility for the utilities such as water and electricity. The purpose of the request of the Governor is to ensure the sustainability and maintenance of the facility while providing equitable access to local exhibitors who have been greatly affected economically by the previous pandemic. The request also intends to promote a responsible usage of the facility and to foster a more inclusive environment for local exhibitors to showcase their products and services. The amendment of fees and charges need to undergo rationalization process as required under existing guidelines and also requires a public hearing under the local government code. Hence, the process might not need more time and may not meet the expected period of implementation, which is on March 1, 2024. In last year, the provincial government spent 140,410 for electricity expenses for the Moriones Expo for the months of May and April alone. Charging the electricity expenses to the exhibitors would lessen the expenses of the provincial government. The PGSO will be installing submeter to determine the usage of the respective booths. Initial recommendation, instead of an ordinance, a resolution must be adopted suspending the implementation of the fees of charges for the Expo and Morion Arena in excess of 7 days. The matter of payment of the charges for electricity consumption to be paid by the exhibitor must be provided in the Memorandum of Agreement to be executed by and between the PGM and the respective exhibitors. The term local exhibitor must be defined in the resolution. Final recommendation, the Joint Committee hereby recommends for the adoption of a resolution suspending the imposition of fees and charges for local exhibitor for the use of the Marinduque Expo and Morion Arena in excess of the 7 days provided under Article 28, Section 93 of the Provincial Ordinance Number 117, Series of 2014, and for the period March 1 to April 6. Respectfully submitted, Jose Neril Mangol, Chairperson of the Committee on Ways and Means, yours truly, Chairperson of the Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances, concurred by Honorable Mercedes Arellano, Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballes, Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukang III, Honorable Bernardine E. Opis Mercado, Honorable Bertinus A. Valencia, and Honorable Adeline M. Angeles, Vice Governor and ex officio member. Madam Presiding Officer, I move for the adoption of Committee Report Number 355, Series of 2024.
Before the adoption, is there any query from the body? Kung wala po, on the part of the presiding officer, may the presiding officer be enlightened if it is okay for that the resolution, that the suspension of the effectivity of an ordinance, the suspension of a certain provision of an ordinance can be done through a resolution alone?
That's what we did last time, Madam Presiding Officer. We just suspend the implementation of the certain provision of the ordinance.
Within a particular period of time?
Within the particular period of time. So, because this ordinance is permanent in nature and the suspension is temporary in nature. So, we just adopted a resolution last time suspending the implementation of the provision of the ordinance. But this time, we will just suspend the provision in excess of 7 days so that the payment will be 3,000 per week or for 7 days as wished and requested by the Governor.
Will it be necessary to include the duration unto which the suspension will be effective?
As mentioned here, it is from March 1 to April 6, 2024.
Okay, thank you po. So
Again-
there is a pending motion from the reporting committee chair for the adoption of the committee report as rendered. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The committee report as rendered is now adopted.
Madam Presiding Officer, moving further that accompanying resolution be transferred to the business for the day of today's session.
Thank you, Honorable Leva. The resolutions being recommended in the committee report will now be considered in the business for the day.
May I ask that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Appropriation for various items referred to the committee under Committee Report number 357, 2024.
The chair of the Committee on Appropriation is recognized, Honorable Lim.
Madam Presiding Officer, our Majority Floor Leader, my colleagues, good afternoon. I present here with the Committee Report number 357-2024, Committee on Appropriations, with the subject of various items referred to the committee. In attendance were members of the committee, Honorable Ismael D.P. Lim, Honorable Mark Juros Caballes, Honorable Danilo R. Red, Honorable Jose Neri Bangol, Honorable Bertinos A. Valencia. The resource persons were Mr. Blair Edgar Di Maano, Acting HRMO, Ms. Marian Cunanan, PPDO, Ms. Miriam Sadiwa, PBO, and Dr. Josin Oblipias of the Torrijos Medical Hospital. Torrijos Hospital, Madam Chair. The subjects were the following. Request for supplemental appropriations. Number 1, the amount of 2,300,000 pesos for various MOOE and capital outlay accounts under the Provincial Human Resource Management Office, PHRMO. The amount of 5,047,796 pesos for various MOOE accounts under the Torrijos Municipal Hospital, TMH, and the 500,000 peso for various MOOE and capital outlay accounts under the Provincial Planning and Development Office, PPDO. The recommendations were as follows. Number 1, the committee hereby recommends for the adoption of the following resolutions. Number 1, a resolution appropriating the amount of 2,300,000 pesos for various MOOE capital outlay accounts under the Provincial Human Resource and Management Office, PHRMO, subject to the availability of funds. Number 2, resolution appropriating the amount of 5,047,796 pesos for various MOOE and capital outlay accounts under the various under Torrijos Municipal Hospital, TMH. And finally, number 3, resolution appropriating the amount of 500,000 pesos for various MOOE and capital outlay accounts under the Provincial Planning and Development Office, PPDO. For the review and appropriation of ordinances from component municipalities, Madam Chair, the committee recommends that there being no adverse findings and with favorable recommendations from Provincial Budget Office, the committee hereby recommends for the adoption of the following. Number 1, resolution declaring appropriation ordinance number 4, series of 2023, authorizing the calendar year 2023 General Fund Supplemental Budget number 4 of the Municipality of Buena Vista, Marinduque as operative, subject to the conditions, comments, and findings of the Provincial Budget Officer. And number 2, a resolution declaring appropriation ordinance number 1, series of 2024, authorizing the calendar year 2024 General Fund Supplemental Budget number 1 of the Municipality of Gasan, Marinduque as operative, subject to the conditions, comments, and findings of the Provincial Budget Officer. And finally, Madam Chair, under letter C, letter from Mr. Roberto Macdon, LDRRMO 3 of Torrijos, submitting to the SP copy of the program of works of the waterworks system intended for the families affected by landslide in Barangay Bayakbakin, Torrijos, Marinduque. The committee recommends that based therefrom, the committee hereby recommends that the municipality of Torrijos may submit new requests for provision of power and water services for the resettlement site amounting to 250,000 pesos subject to the liquidation report of 1,500,000 pesos financial assistance that were used for the purchase of land for relocation of affected families in the landslide-prone sitios in Barangay Boac, Torreos, Marinduque. Madam Chair, respectfully submitted, Ismael D.P. Lim, Chairperson, concurred by Mark Julius P. Caballes, Vice Chairperson, Danilo R. Red, Member, Jose Neril Manggol, Member, Bertinos A. Valencia, Member, and concurred by Honorable Adeline M. Angeles, Vice Governor and ex officio Member. Madam Chair, the committee report number 357-2024 under the Committee on Appropriations. Madam Chair, I hereby submit.
Thank you, Honorable Lim. Any query from the floor? There is a pending motion from the reporting committee chair for the adoption of the committee report as rendered. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The committee report as rendered is now adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving further, that the corresponding resolutions stipulated in the recommendations, Madam Chair, be transferred to business of the day, Madam Chair. I so move.
Likewise, all resolutions as an offshoot of the adopted committee report will be considered in the business for the day as moved by the reporting committee chair. Thank you, Honorable Lim.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask to recognize the Chairperson of the Committee on Labor and Employment for the committee report on the item number 1.
Recognizing Honorable Mark Julius Caballes for the committee report on behalf of the Labor and Employment Committee.
Madam Presiding Officer, this representation sa Chairperson of the Committee on Human Resource, Labor and Employment favorably recommends adoption of a resolution granting authority to the Honorable Governor Presbyterio J. Velasco Jr. to sign and enter into a memorandum of agreement for and behalf of the Provincial Government of Marinduque with the Department of Labor and Employment Mimaropa, represented by its Regional Director Naomi Lynn C. Abellana, for the implementation of a government internship program.
Thank you, Honorable Caballes. Any clarification from the floor? On the part of the presiding officer, may the presiding officer be clarified how many GIP ang involved po dito, and
Madam Presiding,
yes, Honorable Caballes.
Madam Presiding Officer, as far as I know, the number of the GIP is dependent upon the request of the provincial government and the various offices to which the GIP internees shall be assigned. It's just MOA for the facilitation of the provision of the said program to the provincial government.
Yes, there is again requesting the gentleman from Boac, Honorable Caballes, to kindly reiterate the motion.
The presiding officers for the adoption of favorably recommends the adoption of a resolution granting authority to Honorable Governor Presbyterio J. Velasco Jr. to sign and enter into a memorandum of agreement for and behalf of the Provincial Government of Marinduque with the Department of Labor and Employment Mimaropa, represented by its Regional Director Naomi Lynn C. Abellana, for the implementation of a government internship program.
Okay, there is a motion from the reporting committee chair. Any second? Any objection to the motion? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The committee report as rendered is now adopted.
The presiding officer, I further move that the company resolution be transferred to business for the day.
Likewise, the resolution being recommended in the adopted committee report will be considered in the business for the day. Thank you, Honorable Caballes.
Thank you po.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask to recognize the Chairperson of the Committee on Education for committee report under item number 2.
Honorable Red is recognized.
Madam Chair, I formally moves for the adoption of committee report, omnibus motion, Madam Chair, to granting authority to sign and enter to a memorandum of agreement by and between the provincial government of Marinduque and the following school relative to the implementation of the work immersion program for the senior high school student. The following schools: number one, the St. Mary's College of Marinduque Incorporated, represented by its principal, Maria Elena P. Dasco. Number two, the Bangbang National High School, represented by its principal, Norminda S. Mabaw. Number three, the Kawit National Comprehensive High School, represented by its principal, Dino S. Nepomuceno. Number four, the Mogpog National Comprehensive High School, represented by its principal, Maria Corazon A. Borja. And number five, the Marinduque National High School, represented by its principal, Democrito Nazareno. I so move, Madam Chair.
So, the chair is moving for the adoption of
Yes,
the
Madam
report.
Chair.
So there is a pending motion from the reporting committee chair favorably endorsing the granting of authority to the governor to enter into MOA with the different educational institutions as mentioned by the reporting committee chair. Any objection to the motion to adopt the committee report as rendered? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The committee report rendered by Honorable Red is now adopted. Thank you, Honorable
Madam
Red.
Chair, and containing resolution be transferred to business of the day, Madam Chair.
And likewise, the resolutions favorably endorsed in the committee report will be considered in the business for the day. Thank you, Honorable Red.
Madam Presiding Officer, may this representation be recognized for the joint committee report of the Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances and the Committee on Agriculture.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
This has something to do, Madam Presiding Officer, with the request of the Governor for the adoption/ratification of a resolution ratifying the previously issued Sangguniang Panlalawigan resolution authorizing the Governor Presbyterio J. Velasco Jr. to sign, enter into, and duly execute memoranda and other contract with the Department of Agriculture. As mentioned by the Governor, the previously adopted resolution number 788 series of 2023 grants authority to sign, enter, and execute a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Agriculture represented by then Senior Undersecretary Domingo F. Panganiban. And what is being asked now is to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Agriculture to be represented by a new Secretary Chulaurel, who appointed and by rescinding the delegation authority granted to Senior Undersecretary Domingo F. Panganiban. So, aside from that, they are also asking for the authority to the Governor to sign and enter into an implementation management agreement and other necessary agreements, contract with the Department of Agriculture, Philippine Rural Development Project, World Bank, resolving that the local government unit of Marinduque hereby commence logistical and funding support to the sub-project, particularly with respect to the equity contribution and operations and maintenance of completed or installed structure systems and facilities, and committing to process the transfer of and annotation of land titles of the transferred or donated properties to be utilized in the project. There is an pro forma resolution, Madam Presiding Officer, that being suggested by the Department of Agriculture, and it is requiring that names and signature of those who voted in favor of the authority must appear in the resolution. This has something to do with the the PRDP project, which we have already given authority by virtue of resolution number 788 series of 2023, and for that purpose, we will give another authority to the governor amending for this purpose the said resolution. So the committee, with the indulgence of the Committee on Agriculture, would like to endorse favorably the adoption of a resolution for this request of the governor.
Thank you, Honorable Leva. Just a clarification from the request for clarification from the presiding officer. Hindi ko po masyado maintindihan yung una. Resolution of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of the
Kaya nga po,
province of Marinduque ratifying the previously
Just
issued
resolution.
resolution. Why are we ratifying
So,
our own resolution?
That's why, Madam Presiding Officer, our recommendation is to adopt a new resolution amending for this purpose resolution number 288. We will not
Okay.
adhere to the request of
Yeah.
ratifying a resolution.
Yeah, we will ratify the memorandum of
Yeah,
agreement
yes.
that may have been executed by virtue of the previous resolution.
So our recommendation is just to adopt a resolution and amending for that matter the previous
The previous
resolution. that we have
resolution, integrating the other information that they want to be included. Okay, thank you, Honorable Leva. So again, what is the pleasure of the reporting committee chair?
I move for the adoption of committee report and that the accompanying resolution be transferred to the business for the day.
Any objection from the motion of the reporting committee chair? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The committee report as rendered is adopted, and the corresponding resolution will be included in the business for the day. Thank you, Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Health.
Before we proceed, may the presiding officer know the pleasure of the body. It is already 3 o'clock, and there is an information that the snacks. Is it okay for you that it will be a working session?
Yes.
Or we will take a break for some minutes? So okay na lang? Sige, thank you.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Health for the committee report jointly of the Committee on Health and the Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances.
The Vice Chair of the Committee on Health is recognized. Honorable Rehano is recognized.
Okay na. Okay
That is
na.
with regard to what item?
Ambulance, Madam Presiding.
Regarding the ambulance.
Yes, Honorable Mercedes Rehano is recognized on
Yes,
behalf of
thank
the
you, Madam
committee.
Presiding Officer. Since the number 6 item, it is certified urgent from the governor, and I think that this ambulance that is the deed of donation is already needed. So we will render the committee report regarding this, that our governor is asking for the authority to enter into a deed of donation with the Department of Health Center for Health Development for the donation of 1 unit of planned ambulance, including the equipment involving the amount of 1,988,488, and the date of donation run this way, and this their honorable members of the SP, and this deed donation of the donor under the Department of Health, Mimaropa, represented in its regional director, Mr. Mario S. Bakilod, MD, MPH, CESO, Region 4, will donate 1 unit of planned ambulance Type 1, including the equipment thereon, amounting the amount of 1,988,488 pesos only. In light, the provincial government of Marinduque, represented by its governor, Presbyter of J. Velasco Jr., herein referred as a donee. In this line, the boasting universal health care via formula, one of the Health Plus F1 Plus, which envision that quality health care to be more accessible to the poor and vulnerable population through ensuring the availability of functional health care facilities. And with the review of the proposed deed of donation with the DOH, CHD Mimaropa, and on donation of 2023 Land Ambulance Type 1, upon careful review of the deed of donation stated above, the Provincial Legal Office makes the following comments and observation. This office finds no legally objectionable provision in the endorsed draft of the proposed MOA. And however, this office recommends the following to effectively carry out the obligation of the provincial government under the said MOA, that the Provincial Health Office and the Governors and the Provincial General Services Office be tasked to ensure compliance with the obligation of the provincial government under the MOA. So, and with this, the deed of donation states that the 2023 HFEP Land Ambulance Type 1, Unit 1 for Marinduque Province, known all men with this presence. This deed of donation entered into blank of date, blank. I think na ito po ay na-donate na, nandito na po sa atin sa Marinduque. And the Philippines by and between the Department of Health, Center for Health Development, Mimaropa, the national government entity, duly organized and existing under the laws of Republic of the Philippines, hereinafter referred to the DOH with office under the QMMC compound. Project 4, Quezon City, represented by Mario Isbakilud, and in the capacity as Regional Director, hereinafter referred as a donor. In favor of the province of Marinduque, local government unit, duly organized and existing under the laws, Republic of the Philippines with the office address of the provincial capital, compound, Barangay Santol, Boac, Marinduque, Philippines, represented by Presbytero Velasco Jr. in his capacity as a governor, wherein referred to as a donee. And with regard this, in this agreement, the OH and provincial government of Marinduque are individually referred as the party and collectively as the parties. So I think that we are all have a copy of this, and I just mention whatever is important with this agreement. So I move that this resolution
Committee report.
about this and this committee will be
Adopted.
I submitted this as a committee report for this committee report, and to be tackled for the business for today for the approval of the deed of donation. Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Honorable Rihano. Bago po yung adoption, by the way, thank you po sa ating sponsor ng snacks. As we are having a working snacks sa Bocal de Peralta, no? Thank you po for the snacks. And to the reporting committee chair, tanong lang po natin, saan po i-assign kaya ito? Do you have any information already and to which office this ambulance will be assigned?
Kasi po ito ay nakuha lamang ng the governor nung tayo ay umalis, nung tayo ay nasa ELA. Parang wala pa po ako masyadong pero it is, ang alam ko nandito sa atin sa probinsya. Dito sa natin pa. Sa MH, sa Provincial Hospital.
Nasa sa hospital po. Hindi po sa, kasi ang alam ko PHO ay re-request din sila. So sa hospital po ito.
Parang
most
hindi
likely.
ko pa po masyadong ang information
Kung saan
regarding this.
ilalagay. Sige po.
Basta ang inahiling po lang sa atin ay the deed of donation
Okay.
para po to be insured.
Thank you very much po. Pwede rin po bang magdagdag ng isa na provision dun sa committee report na ma-ensure ng GSO na ma-recognize po, magampanan yun pong requirements ng DOH to make sure yung 6 months, within 6 months ay nakaregister na as an ambulance in the name of the province. Kasi po may mga pagkakataon na may mga ambulansya po pala pero hindi maigamit palabas ng Manila, palabas ng Lucena sapagkat kulang pa yung mga necessary documents. Kaya po, para magamit po talaga siya, ay dapat din pong matutukan yung pong mga documentary requirements for registration.
That's why po binasa ko yung ating pong obligasyon sa provincial, yung pong sa ating GSO and our provincial health office. Their obligation to ensure, and the obligation of the General Services Office is to be tasked to ensure compliance in the obligation of the provincial government under the MOA. Ilasasama.
Thank you po. It's here po naman pala specifically the GSO. Thank you, Honorable Rihano. So there is a pending motion from Honorable Rihano on behalf of the Committee on Health to adopt to approve the committee report favorably endorsing the granting of authority to the good governor to enter into a deed of donation on behalf of the province of Marinduque with DOH with regard to the 1 unit type 1 land ambulance that they are donating to the province. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The committee report is now adopted.
And to be tackled for the business of the day.
And
for
the
approval.
resolution being recommended will be included in the business for the day. Thank you, Honorable Rihano.
Thank you.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Appropriation for each committee report. This has something to do with the consultancy services.
Honorable Lim, the chair of the Committee on Appropriation, is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Floor Leader, with the indulgence of the body, Madam Chair, I present here with the committee report of the Committee on Appropriations with the recommendation in favor of providing for supplemental appropriations involving a total amount of 300,000 pesos as consultancy services fee for the preparation, enhancement of feasibility study and economic financial analysis for the following proposed PRDP scale-up sub-projects to wit. Number 1, improvement upgrading of Tigyon FMR, Gasan, with an estimated project cost of 60 million pesos. 2, improvement upgrading of Botilao FMR, Santa Cruz, with an estimated project cost of 8.85 million pesos. And finally, construction of Duyay Tapuyan Bridge, Boac, Gasan, with an estimated project cost of 120 million pesos, Madam Chair. The committee report of the Committee on Appropriations, I hereby submit and move for its adoption, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Lim. Any objection to the adoption of the committee report as rendered by the chair of the Committee on Appropriation? So there's no objection, there's a second, and there's no objection, so the committee report is now adopted. Thank you, Honorable Lim.
Moving further, Madam Chair, that the corresponding resolutions be transferred to business of the day, Madam Chair.
And the corresponding resolution as an offshoot of the adopted committee report will be included in the business for the day. Thank you, Honorable Lim. Duly seconded by Honorable Mercedes Rehano.
The owner of half of Barangay Botilao.
That closes our committee report. Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Youth and Sports for the joint committee report of the Committee on Youth and Sports and Committee on Education.
Yes, Honorable Bertinos Valencia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam.
Kahit kailan talaga, hindi ko maalala yung Bertinos minsan.
Thank you,
Yes,
Madam
Honorable
Presiding
Valencia.
Officer. Madam Presiding Officer, with the indulgence of the Joint Committee of the Committee on Education and Committee on Youth and Sports, this representation as Chair of the Committee on Youth recommends for the adoption of proposed resolution number 2024-590 entitled Resolution Congratulating and Commending the Learners, Coaches, and the Entire Administration of our Mother Perpetual School Academy, or OMSA, in Torrijos, Marinduque, for reaping numerous awards in the 20th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 at Teachers Camp, Baguio City.
And the committee favorably recommends the approval of the said resolution. Any objection to the... Yes,
Question,
Honorable.
Madam Presiding Officer.
Yes, Honorable.
Sa pagkakaalam po ba ng
Leva.
sponsor ay lahat ng nanalo na taga Marinduque sa 20th National Science Quest ay taga OMSA lamang? Baka meron pa pong taga ibang school? O OMSA lang talaga ang...
Yes, meron po bang katugunan ang author and at the same time ay sponsor? OMSA lang po ba ang...
Madam Chair, to my knowledge, Gracia Plena also gathered some awards on this.
Okay, so there are other schools. But this resolution is particularly focused
High
on
school
OMSA.
po.
On OMSA.
Yes po. Mga high school po, Madam Chair.
May the preside, may we, ito pala. So what is, are you, so do you have any information po na kung may mga iba pang educational institution within Marinduque who gathered similar awards in this competition? Maliban sa Gracia Plena, we may validate it. Meron po ba kayong narinig pa, nalalaman pang ibang eskwelahan na nag-excel dito po sa competition na ito?
Madam Chair, sa pagkakaalam ko po, OMSA lang po ata yung nanay.
Okay. So sa ngayon ho, as per the author, ay wala pa siyang knowledge.
Sige po.
with
Ang
direct
ano ko lang po ay
knowledge.
siguro ay ano natin sa kalihiman kung pwedeng ma-research kung baka may mga iba pang kasi katulad po nung nangyari doon sa Landi National High School yung sa civil service mismong bibig ni Superintendent Mendoza na yun daw po Masalukot at saka Marinduque National High School ay Makapuyat and Marinduque National High School ay awardees din. Ay baka mangyari din po kasi national ito ay baka may mga ibang eskwela. Kaya siguro po ay mahinga natin ng tulong yung secretariat to dig deeper and to research if there are other awardees other than the students from OMSA.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we will give the resolution to the people of OMSA.
As introduced by Honorable
introduced.
Valencia. So there is a pending motion for the adoption of the committee report. Provided, however, that further research will be made also. Will the reporting committee chair be willing to include that in the committee report?
Yes po.
Na further research will be done with regard to other possible awardees in this competition?
Yes po, Madam Chair. Baka po ma'am kasi hindi lang OMSA po yung nakakuha.
Oo. Thank you, Honorable Bertina. So there is a pending
Madam
motion for the adoption of the committee report as rendered with some inclusion, additional, with some amendment. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The committee report as rendered by Honorable Bertinos Valencia is now adopted with amendment, with additional provision.
Madam Presiding Officer, that closes our committee reports. We now go to the calendar of business. We don't have any unfinished business. For the first item, the business for the day is proposed resolution number 2024-009 752, authored by Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballes. May he be recognized.
Honorable Mark Julius Caballas is recognized.
The presiding officer, this representation moves for the adoption of proposed resolution number 2024-572, a resolution supporting and endorsing the acquisition of dredging equipment for the PDRMO to enhance the disaster risk reduction capabilities of the province of Marinduque, the concerned national agencies for possible funding assistance. Pwede pong i-omnibus ko na lang ito, Bes?
Alin po?
Lahat po ito yung mga resolutions concerning the request of the PDRMO. Ito po yung naka-address sa different concerned agencies for possible funding po.
Okay lang po, kahit isa-isahin na po natin.
Ay, sige po.
Okay, there is a pending motion from Honorable Mark Julius Caballes for the adoption of proposed resolution number 2024-572. Any second to this motion, to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Encabo. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Proposed resolution number 2024-572 as read by the sponsor and by the author is now adopted.
Yes.
When the presiding officer, again, this representation moves for the adoption of proposed resolution number 2024-573, resolution supporting and endorsing the establishment of Marinduque Command Communications and Control Center to enhance the disaster risk reduction capabilities of the province of Marinduque to the concerned national agencies for possible funding assistance.
Can the presiding officer motu proprio request for some reconsideration? The title of the resolution 2024-572 is addressed to concerned national government agency. Can we better identify what agencies are we referring? Kasi pag na-receive nila ito, parang to whom it may concern. So, baka mas maganda ang dating kung tumbok talaga kung anong ahensya ang hinihinga natin ng tulong, including the proper leader, proper head na tatanggap ng resolution.
Yes po, Vice. Yun naman po yung napagkasunduan natin nung first na nainihain ito sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan. I think may lista naman po kayo, Sir Carlo, dun sa agencies na
So, requesting for dredging equipment. So, just the impression of the board, but I will respect the By the way, we already approved it, and the presiding officer is just motu proprio requesting for consideration. But can we put now the proper agency already? Does the chair can provide already the concerned agency that will be?
Nakuha na daw po yung list, Madam Presiding Officer.
Okay po. So, yes, Honorable Leva.
Can we make it individually? Let's say, for example, proposed resolution 2024-572. Yung isang agency, 572A, 572B, 572C, and so on and so forth. Pero instead of the concerned agency, yung agency mismo, for example, DPWH for possible funding assistance, then naka-A na lang po. Tapos yung 573A, B, and so on and so forth.
So just a clarification with regard to the approved resolution 2024-572, the different national government agencies will be properly identified in each resolution. And the resolution number will consider 572A, 572B, 572C, and 572D respectively. May we just be reminded of the different national government agencies, mentioning also the head of the agency, the particular name for their direct disposition. May the good secretary guide us, please.
Based po dito sa project implementation na sinabit ng PDRRM Vice, ang concerned or involved agencies dito is the DPWH, DNRDA, at meron pa siya dito binanggit na Department of Water Resources once formed. So, hindi pa sigurado.
So dito po muna sa dredging. Kasi tayo po kasi yung maglalabas ng resolution. So gusto po naman natin ay yung resolution natin ay medyo tumbok po yung hinihingan natin ng tulong para ma-follow up din po natin properly. Can we just leave it to the Secretariat to put the necessary agency concerned that are covered by this resolution?
Vice pong sa Sea Ambulance is Marina, Philippine Coast Guard, DOH.
Okay po. So dito muna lang tayo sa ano po.
Tapos po,
Dito lang po muna tayo sa dredging.
Vice pong sa dredging ay... po sa dredging is DPWH, DNRDA. Wala pa po yung Department of Water Resources.
Okay po. So 3. Will that be okay, Bocal Caballas?
Okay.
We will send resolutions to these 3 national government agencies. Teka, naka-resume ba yung session?
Na-resume niya na po.
Okay. Sorry. So with that, there's a meeting of the minds, and with the clarification from Honorable Caballas, with regard to resolution number 2024-572, the resolutions will be addressed to DPWH, DNR, and DA. Okay. Thank you, Sir James and the Secretariat. Thank you, Honorable Caballas.
Thank you po.
Okay, next item.
Command Center.
Madam Presiding Officer, this representation moves for the adoption of proposed resolution number 2024-573, a resolution supporting and endorsing the establishment of Marinduque Command Communications and Control Center to enhance the disaster risk reduction capabilities of the province of Marinduque to the concerned national agencies for the possible funding assistance, again subject to style as...
And the national government agencies here refers to what agencies? Maybe will be reminded, Sir James?
So the agencies involved are the OCD, DACT, and DPWH.
Are those agencies the ones being recommended, Honorable Caballas?
Yes po.
So
Madam
with
Presiding
that,
Officer.
may the presiding officer request that Honorable Caballas reiterate the motions, mentioning also those 3 agencies for the next 3 resolutions.
Madam Presiding Officer, this representation moves for the adoption of resolution, proposed resolution number 2024-573, resolution supporting and endorsing the establishment of Marinduque Command Communications and Control Center to enhance the disaster risk reduction capabilities of the province of Marinduque to DICT, OCD, yung isa, and DPWH. 3 different or separate
In
resolutions.
separate resolutions. Any second to the motion? Duly seconded. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution supporting and endorsing to DPWH, DICT, OCD, all in separate resolutions for possible funding assistance, the establishment of Marinduque Command Communications and Control Center to enhance the disaster risk reduction capabilities of the province of Marinduque are now adopted.
The presiding officer, again, this representation moves for the adoption of a resolution supporting and endorsing the Marinduque Sea Ambulance, and Sea Patrol Vessel project that will enhance the disaster risk reduction capabilities of the province of Marinduque to the
Marina, Philippine Coast Guard at saka DOH.
to Marina, Philippine Coast Guard, and DOH in 3 separate resolutions, Madam Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Honorable Caballas. Any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Encabo. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution supporting and endorsing to Marina, Philippine Coast Guard,
DOH. po, yes.
and DOH for possible funding assistance, the Sea Ambulance and Sea Patrol Vessel projects of the province of Marinduque to enhance its disaster and emergency response capabilities are now adopted in separate resolutions.
Madam Presiding Officer, finally, this representation moves for the adoption of proposed resolution number 2024-575, a resolution supporting and endorsing the construction of the Marinduque off-grid solar-powered multipurpose hub necessary to enhance the disaster risk reduction capabilities of the province of Marinduque to DOE. Walang DOE po. DSWD and DOE in 2 separate resolutions, Madam Presiding Officer.
DSWD
And DOE po.
and DOE. So there's a pending motion. Any second to the motion of Honorable Caballas for the adoption of a resolution addressed to DSWD and DOE?
Why DOE?
Siguro po yung technology para
Why, again, may we hear from Honorable Caballas? Maganda kasi talaga medyo tumbok para specific yung ating nire-request at mafa-follow up din natin. Honorable Caballas,
yun po ay parang nadagdag na suggestion na ngayon, Vice, on the fly, dahil po siguro para doon sa technology ng off-grid solar-powered multipurpose hub. So, pero kasama na po natin.
so what is the final pleasure of Honorable Caballas? Are you maintaining
Sama na po, Vice.
off-grid solar-powered multi-purpose hub? So it is just a specific use of technology naman, not necessarily involved.
DSWD lang po.
DSWD. Okay. So there is a so you are reconsidering, Honorable
Yes po.
Caballas.
Sa DSWD na lang.
Thank you, Honorable Caballas. Is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Rejano, Honorable Encabo. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution supporting and endorsing to the Department of Social Welfare and Development Office for possible funding assistance the construction of the Marinduque off-grid solar-powered multi-purpose hub to increase and strengthen disaster risk reduction and emergency response capabilities of the province of Marinduque is now adopted.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Honorable Caballas. Honorable Lim is recognized.
I have no objection on the Sea Ambulance, but I was just wondering because we will be sending the resolution to Coast Guard and Civil Defense and Marina, Madam Chair. Marina, Maritime.
Yeah, it's more on regulatory, no?
Do they have the mandate of providing sea ambulances? Parang yan po ay for private maritime enterprises po yan.
Any clarification from Honorable Caballas?
Madam Presiding Officer, yun po yung recommendation ng Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office natin. So, may clarification pa ata from the Secretary. Yun po ay dahil para rin daw po sa Sea Patrol yun.
Yes, Madam Chair, we understand that.
Honorable Lim.
But are we tapping on the right agency? Marina.
Maybe the concern of Honorable Lim is providing an equipment is different from performing regulatory functions, more on permitting, like in the case of
For
Marina.
private shipping.
So what is your recommendation, or what is your
Can we
recommendation,
validate, Madam
Honorable?
Chair, if Marina, if it is the practice of Marina to provide this aid?
Madam Presiding Officer,
Yes, Honorable Caballes.
these resolutions are only resolutions endorsing and supporting the already submitted request of the PDRMO. So, I think,
Yeah, but when we send kasi a resolution, it is already ours.
Correct.
At gusto naman natin, siyempre, pag may lumabas na resolution sa atin, it is something that must be taken seriously rin at ma-follow up natin. Will it be okay, just to harmonize the concern, will it be okay that we approve it, but the release of the resolution will be subject to further validation, whether or not it is the proper agency? Baka naman kasi sabihin ng Marina, bakit kami? Di ba? So it will put us in bad light also, na parang hindi natin alam yung proper agency na pwedeng makatulong sa atin. So with due respect to the recommendation of our colleagues from PDRRMO, nasa body po ito, but one thing that we can do is suspend the resolution with regard to Marina and just approve it once validated na tama yung agency. So will that be okay, Honorable Caballes?
okay.
So we will defer the approval, or we can approve it, but the release will be subject to validation of proper agency. So what is the recommendation of the body? Shall we defer the approval with regard to Marina? Okay. Subject to validation. Okay. So with that, that is a reconsideration with regard to the previously adopted resolution, and Honorable Caballes is amenable to the reconsideration. Okay po ba, Honorable Caballes? So the resolution addressed to Marina is being reconsidered without prejudice to gathering additional information.
Siguro po clarification lang po from our PDRMO kung bakit
Yes.
request rin sila dun sa specific office na yun.
Okay, thank you. And we will leave it up to the, we will request the sponsor, Honorable Caballes, together with the Secretariat, to kindly make the necessary representation to PPDRMO with regard to additional information that we that we may need. Thank you, Honorable Caballes.
Thank you po.
So the resolution addressed to Marina is reconsidered. Thank you, Honorable Lim.
Madam Presiding Officer,
Yes, Honorable Leva.
may this representation be recognized for the adoption of a resolution?
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I move for the adoption of a resolution suspending the imposition of fees and charges for local exhibitors for the use of the Marinduque Expo and Morion Arena in excess of the 7 days provided under Article 28, Section 93 of the Provincial Ordinance Number 117, Series of 2014, for the period March 1 to April 6, 2024. I so move.
Any second to the motion? Seconded by Honorable Mercedes Rejano. Any objection? The chair hears none. Thus, the motion is approved. The resolution suspending the imposition, tama?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a motion duly seconded without objection for the adoption of this resolution. Thus, the resolution suspending the imposition of fees and charges for local exhibitors for the use of Marinduque Expo and Morion Arena in excess of the 7 days provided under the Article 28, Section 93 of the Provincial Ordinance Number 117, Series of 2014, from the period March 1 to April 6, 2024, is now adopted.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that to recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Appropriation for its resolutions.
Yes, Honorable Lim is recognized.
Madam Chair, good afternoon. With the indulgence of the body, Madam Chair, I move for an omnibus motion for all the resolutions stipulated in the proposed resolutions stipulated in the committee report number 357-2024, Committee on Appropriations. Madam Chair, I so move.
There is an omnibus motion for the adoption of the resolution that emanated from an adopted committee report number 357, thus 2024, rendered by Honorable Lim a while ago. Any second to the omnibus motion? Any second? Duly seconded by Honorable Mercy Rejano, Honorable Jojo Leva. Any objection? The chair hears none. Thus, the omnibus motion is approved. The following resolutions are now adopted. Resolutions providing supplemental appropriation of 2.3 million for various MOOE and capital outlay for the Provincial Human Resource and Management Office, 5,045,796 pesos. For MOOE of the Torrijos Municipal Hospital, 500,000 for various MOOE and capital outlay accounts under the PPDO, and the resolution, those were the supplemental appropriations already approved, and the resolution declaring Appropriation Ordinance Number 4, Series of 2023, or Supplemental Budget Number 4 of the Municipality of Buenavista, Supplemental Budget Number 1 of the Municipality of Gasan for the calendar year 2024 are all declared to be valid and operative and within the authority of the said LGU to enact. And the resolution providing for the transfer or providing for the transfer of iba pa yun pala. So those resolutions as reiterated are now approved and adopted. Thank you, Honorable Lim.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may, Madam Chair, I would continue.
Proceed, Honorable Lim.
Yes, Madam Chair, this is regarding the request of the Governor, Madam Chair, with the indulgence again of the body. I move that we pass a resolution as stipulated, as recommended in the committee report, Madam Chair. I move that we pass a resolution providing for supplemental appropriations involving the total amount of 300,000 pesos as consultancy services fee for the preparation, enhancement of feasibility study and economic financial analysis for the following proposed PRDP scale sub-projects, to wit: number 1, improvement of and upgrading of Tigyon FMR Gasan with an estimated project cost of 60 million pesos, improvement of and upgrading of Botilao FMR Santa Cruz with an estimated project cost of 85 million pesos, and finally, construction of Duay Tapuyan Bridge Boac Gasan with an estimated project cost of 120 million pesos. Madam Chair, I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Lim. Any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Mercedes Rejano. Very special.
Botilao.
And Honorable Danny Red. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution granting supplemental appropriation in the amount of 300,000 pesos for consultancy services fee for the preparation of feasibility studies and economic financial analysis for the different projects as reiterated by the sponsor regarding the proposed related to the PRDP scale up is now approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Pro Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Lim.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask to recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Labor and Employment for its approval of a resolution.
The chair of the Committee on Labor and Employment is recognized. Honorable Caballes is recognized. This is with regard to what? Adadole. Yes, Honorable Caballes.
Madam Presiding Officer, this representation moves for the adoption of a resolution granting authority to the Honorable Governor Presbyterio J. Velasco Jr. to sign and enter into a memorandum of agreement for and on behalf of the provincial government of Marinduque with the Department of Labor and Employment Mimaropa, represented by its Regional Director Naomi Lynn C. Abellana, for the implementation of a government internship program.
Any second to the motion by Honorable Caballes, duly seconded by Honorable Lim, Honorable Rejano, Honorable Leva. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution granting authority to the Honorable Governor Presbyterio Velasco Jr. to enter into a memorandum of agreement for and on behalf of the province with the Department of Labor and Employment Mimaropa for the implementation of government internship program with the provincial government is now approved.
Thank you po.
We now go to the adoption of resolutions sponsored by the Committee on Education. May I ask that we recognize each chairperson.
Honorable Danny Red is recognized.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval granting authority to sign and enter a memorandum of agreement by and between the provincial government of Marinduque, represented by our Governor Presbyterio Velasco, and the following schools relative to the implementation of the work immersion program for senior high school students. Number 1, the St. Mary's College of Marinduque Incorporated, represented by its principal Maria Elena P. Dasco. The Bangbang National High School, represented by its principal Norminda S. Mabaw. The Kawit National Comprehensive High School, represented by its principal Dino Nepomuceno. The Mogpog National Comprehensive High School, represented by its principal Maria Corazon A. Borja. The Marinduque National High School, represented by its principal Democrito Nazareno. I so move, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Red. So they will be in separate resolutions. Tama po. Separate resolutions.
Omnibus motion,
Omnibus
Madam
motion
Chair.
for separate resolutions. Okay. There is a...
Yes, Madam Chair.
There's an omnibus motion from Honorable Danny Red for the adoption of 5 resolutions
Yes.
granting authority to the Governor Presbyterio Velasco Jr. to enter into a memorandum of agreement for and on behalf of the provincial government of Marinduque with the following schools for the work immersion program for senior high school students. First, St. Mary's College of Marinduque Incorporated. Second, Bangbang National High School. Third, Kawit National Comprehensive High School. Fourth, Mogpog National Comprehensive High School. And fifth, Marinduque National High School are all approved.
Madam Presiding Officer, may this representation be recognized for the adoption of a resolution?
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam
Thank you,
Presi-
Honorable Red.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I move for the adoption of a resolution authorizing the Honorable Governor Presbyterio J. Velasco Jr. to sign and enter into a memorandum of agreement for in behalf of the provincial government of Marinduque with the Department of Agriculture relative to the Philippine Rural Development Project Scale Up 1 I built with the following clauses: authority to sign and enter into an implementation management agreement and other necessary agreements, contract with the Department of Agriculture Philippine Rural Development Project World Bank, that the LGU of Marinduque commits logistical funding support to the sub-project, particularly to the equity contribution and operations and maintenance of completed or installed structure, system, and facilities. And number 3, committing to transfer and or annotation of land titles of the transfer ordinated properties to be utilized in the sub-project, amending for this purpose resolution number 788 series of 2023. I so move.
There is a pending motion from Honorable Leva. Any second? Duly seconded by Honorable Mercedes Rejano. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution granting authority to Honorable Governor Presbitero Velasco Jr. to enter into a MOA for and on behalf of the Provincial Government of Marinduque with the Department of Agriculture relative to the Philippine Rural Development Project or PRDP Scale Up I-Build with the 3 new clauses as reiterated by the sponsor is now approved.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask to recognize the Chairperson of the Committee on Youth and Sports. Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask to recognize the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Health for the adoption of a resolution.
Recognizing the beautiful Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Health.
Given
Naantok na eh.
given and taken the Vice Governor. And I want everybody that will be anonymously approved by this August body. The request, approving the request for authority to enter into a deed of donation by and between the Provincial Government of Marinduque and the Department of Health Center for Health Development, Ched Mimaropa. I so move.
Any second to the motion? Wala nang mag-second. Si Bokal Mercy na yan nag-motion. Duly seconded by Honorable Leva, Honorable Lim. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution granting authority to Honorable Governor Presbitero Velasco Jr. to enter into a deed of donation for and on behalf of the Provincial Government of Marinduque with the Department of Health Center for Health Development for the donation of 1 unit land ambulance, including the equipment involving the amount of 1,988,488 pesos is now approved.
We now go to the proposed resolution number 2024-590. May I ask to recognize the Chairperson of the Committee on Youth and Sports.
Yes, Honorable Bertinos Valencia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Presiding Officer, I move for an omnibus motion for the particular proposed resolution. Resolution congratulating and commending the learners, coaches, and the entire administration of our Mother Perpetual Soccer Academy in Tourism Marinduque for European numerous awards. The 20th National Science Quest held on February 23, 2024 at Teachers Camp, Bahagi City. Another resolution, a resolution congratulating and commending the learners, coaches, and the entire administration of Santa Cruz Institute in Santa Cruz, Marinduque for reaping numerous awards in the 20th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 at Teachers Camp, Bahagi City. Another resolution, a resolution congratulating and commending the learners, coaches, and the entire administration of Escuela de Gracia Plena in Santa Cruz, Marinduque for reaping numerous awards in the 20th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 Teachers Camp, Bahagi City. I so move, Madam Chair.
Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, before its approval, are we made to understand that there was already a report from the committee that there are other schools that reap awards from the National Science Quiz?
Thank you. Can Honorable Valencia kindly make a clarification, because what is in the agenda is just the resolution addressed to OMSA without prejudice to further research with regard to the other schools. So would you like to provide additional information? Meron na po bang mga bago pa? Kasi we cannot presume. Kasi hindi po natin napag-usapan yung iba pang ano.
Yes po, Madam Chair. Nag-search po ako, nung sabi po kanina is hindi lang po OMSA yung nakapag-grab nung awards. Nag-search po ako kanina, then may nakita po ako na two other schools po, yung Escuela de Gracia Plena and the Santa Cruz Institute po.
Okay po. So with that, the presiding officer is advising Honorable Valencia to kindly provide supplementary motion with regard to the other schools. But for the meantime, we need to approve first what is in the agenda, approved agenda, and after that, you can make your manifestation after the approval of this agenda with regard to the new information that you gathered. So can Bocal Valencia kindly reiterate the motion with regard to the OMSA awardees first. The resolution, the original resolution that you introduced.
So, Madam Chair, I move for the passage of a resolution. A resolution congratulating and commending the learners, coaches, and the entire administration of our Mother Perpetual Soccer Academy in Torres, Marinduque for reaping numerous awards in the 28th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 Teachers Camp, Bahagi City. I so move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion duly seconded. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution congratulating and commending the learners, coaches, and entire administration of our Mother Perpetual Soccer Academy in Torrijos, Marinduque for reaping numerous awards in the 20th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 at Teachers Camp, Baguio City is now approved. You have additional information and manifestation. Honorable Valencia, meron kang additional information na nag-gather with regard to the other awardees?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Sige po. Can you make, and you intend to sponsor also similar resolutions?
Yes po, Madam Chair.
For the record ho, ano po yung mga eskwelahan pa na based on your research ay nakapag-uwi rin ng mga iba't ibang awards?
The Escuela de Gracia Plena po and the Santa Cruz Institute.
Okay, meron ka na rin po bang listahan kung ano po yung mga awards na na-receive nila?
Yes po, Madam Chair.
Okay po. So, with that, there is a complementary, the presiding officer, with due respect to the Committee on Rules, is just advising Honorable Valencia to make an incidental motion for the adoption of yung pong two similar resolutions para po dun sa dalawang school.
Okay. Madam Presiding Officer, I move for the passage of a resolution entitled isa-isa po. A resolution congratulating and commending the learners, coaches, and the entire administration of Santa Cruz Institute in Santa Cruz, Marinduque for reaping numerous awards in the 28th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 at Teachers Camp, Baguio City. So I move, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. There is an incidental motion from Honorable Bertinos for the adoption of a resolution congratulating and commending the learners, coaches, and the entire administration of Santa Cruz Institute Incorporated in Santa Cruz, Marinduque for reaping numerous awards in the 20th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 at Teachers Camp, Baguio City. Any objection? Duly seconded? And no objection? The motion is approved. The said resolution is now adopted.
Again, Madam Chair.
Another
resolution. I move for another resolution. Passage of a new resolution. A resolution congratulating and commending the learners, coaches, and the entire administration of Escuela de Gracia Plena in Santa Cruz, Marinduque for reaping numerous awards in the 20th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 at the Teachers Camp, Bahagi City. I so move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion duly seconded for the adoption of a resolution providing congratulations and commending the learners, coaches, and entire administration of the Escuela de Gracia Plena in Santa Cruz, Marinduque for reaping numerous awards in the 20th National Science Quest held on February 23 to 25, 2024 at Teachers Camp, Baguio City is now approved. Thank
Madam
you,
Chair.
Honorable Valencia.
That closes our business for today. We don't have an assigned business. Madam Presiding Officer, we have here one item for the proposed ordinance for third and final reading, proposed ordinance number 16-58. But we have an agreement before that we will not approve it until such time that we have talked to the governor. And we missed a time to talk with this item with the governor. So may I move that we defer consideration of the same?
This is the
increase.
ordinance. Okay. Yes. So, this particular item is being reconsidered for today's
Yes,
session.
we defer it until such time that
until a discussion with the
we have
governor.
conferred with the governor.
So is the okay? Thank you. Yes, Honorable Lim.
And not to mention, Madam Chair, that the date stipulated is April 1. It's April Fool's Day.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Leva. This particular item for third reading is now deferred until the body is able to talk with the governor with regard to this. With that, the session is adjourned.
Object